He was like, "You sound so ridiculous." So
We're talking about
We are women in
crazy rich
STEM.
Asians.
Bree.
okay,
Listen.
we are women in STEM. We are women in STEM and women in the arts. Welcome to Narratives and Nightcaps, books, beverages, and author conversations. I'm Bree, always ready to dive into new fantasy worlds and take a step back in time.
I'm Megan, part critic, always team physical copy, and forever chasing good thrillers and a great plot twist.
I'm Emily, your resident mood reader who thrives on chaos questions and lively book chats.
And I'm Jordan, equal parts heart, humor, and high-functioning caffeine addict. I come with coffee in hand, wine on standby, and a Gilmore Girls quote for every occasion.
Cheers!
Well, hello, friends. How's it going?
Guys,
Hello.
how are you?
Not too bad. I am navigating the dip in weather that Colorado decided to take today. But other than that, I didn't ask how the weather's over there, Megan, for you. Are you guys...
It's been hot. It's been hot. It's been in the 80s. It's been humid. All my baby hairs that are still growing back are like this high, floating above my head right now. So that's where I'm at. Frizz City.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna
Tell me
join you
about
right
it.
here. See, here you go, Megan, right there, just for you. You're welcome.
I know mine. At least like this part's already grown back in, so like I'm lucky there.
Yeah.
But literally, it's like I don't know if you can even see if I get close, but it's like just thousands of little tiny, like just sticking up everywhere.
Mine
I
look
feel-
really great. So you don't have to do this a lot. In a ponytail, they really show off. They're
Oh,
like, I call it peacocking. They're like, hello. I am
Yes.
here.
I love that for you. Peacocking.
Yes.
That sounds like we're going to have to figure out how to fit that term in with this series because
I think
there
it's
are some
pretty easy to
characters.
do.
There are some characters that do some peacocking. You know, I'm just going to say it.
Okay, can I say something real quick? So
Please.
I've read book 2 already also because I'm like I just want to get it out of the way because I have other books I want to focus on, so I'm like I'll just boom get these done. Kevin Kwan, I think, must be the biggest jokester of all authors I have ever read. Gives nothing away in book 2, but I like had to stop myself. There is literally a character named Perineum. Is everyone aware of what your perineum is? Because Kaya was like, well, that's your taint. And I was like, yup, there's a character named Perineum. So I just wanted to throw that out there now that I'm not going to take the rest of this series very seriously at all, knowing that this is happening. I was like, am I misreading this? Am I misunderstanding? Because I feel like book 1, everyone like pretty normal name. I could get down with it. Some of them I kind of made up the pronunciation per usual.
Is it spelled the same?
It is spelled Perrineum. So no, but yes.
Perennium.
Perry.
Perineum.
Okay.
So,
Well,
here or
you know-
there, but I was like, are you kidding?
this is a very interesting way to like lead into hearing your thoughts about this book. So we're just gonna do it, listener. So we read for this month's series special Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, and I am so excited to talk to you all about it. Before we dive into the plot summary, Emily, you have a super exciting pairing for us.
I do.
So
I do, and I know.
talk about it.
I know you all can see the notes, so I feel like I've given away the I should do like a drum roll or something. But no, I had such fun with our last series doing like the same alcohol and just different cocktails as the book evolved with Red Rising.
Yeah.
That I'm going to do the same thing with Crazy Rich Asians.
Because why
And-
not?
Because why not? So for the first book, Crazy Rich Asians, I have a gin and I should turn it this way, gin and coconut water cooler.
Ooh.
Very refreshing, delicious, honestly, and very spring. Like it's I don't know, got that coconut piece to it. I have lemon in mine. You can put lime juice in it, so there's like a citrus element to it. But it's pretty much effortless. There's really no fancy ingredients. I mean, this is gin from my grocery store. coconut water from Costco and a lemon that you could find in any store. So there's no fancy ingredients, no like intimidation factor on putting this together. And I thought that was a really nice pairing with, especially Rachel, kind of being dropped into this family, country situations, right? This is I called it I just landed in Singapore and was thrown to the wolves. starter drink, right, for the book. But what I'm excited to see evolve, because I haven't read book 2 and 3 yet, is how we can take Jin and evolve it throughout the series. I thought Jin was a nice nod because as we're reading this, there is such a connection between Nick and his social circle with the UK. And they all boarding school or study abroad or college or something with the UK. And gin not only evokes, feelings of it's fancy, it's sometimes a fancier alcohol, or they've got, cocktails that go with it, that I thought it would be a nice nod, especially for using Hendrix, that would be, that kind of UK vibe that comes in. So ultimately, this is, I feel like Vanna White, refreshing, approachable, and quietly elevated, which is very much what we see in book 1. So cheers.
I love that. Cheers.
Love.
And I love, such an easy, really good drink to make. I love that. Oh, so great. Thank you so much, Emily.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will dive into the plot summary, and then I am super excited to hear your thoughts on Crazy Rich Asians. So here we go. Thank you to Goodreads. Crazy Rich Asians is the outrageously funny debut novel about 3 super rich pedigreed Chinese families and the gossip, backbiting, scheming that occurs when the heir to one of the most massive fortunes in Asia brings home his ABC, American-born Chinese, girlfriend to the wedding of the season. When Rachel Chu agrees to spend the summer in Singapore with her boyfriend Nicholas Young, she envisions a humble family home, long drives to explore the island, and quality time with the man she might one day marry. What she doesn't know is that Nick's family home happens to look like a palace, that she'll ride in more private planes than cars, and that with one of Asia's most eligible bachelors on her arm, Rachel might as well have a target on her back. Initiated into a world of dynastic splendor beyond imagination, Rachel meets Astrid, the it girl of Singapore society. Eddie, whose family practically lives in the pages of the Hong Kong socialite magazines, and Eleanor, Nick's formidable mother, a woman who has very strong feelings about who her son should and should not marry. Uproarious, addictive, and filled with jaw-dropping opulence, Crazy Rich Asians is an insider's look at the Asian jet set, a perfect depiction of the clash between old money and new money, between overseas Chinese and mainland Chinese, and a fabulous novel about what it means to be young, in love, and gloriously, crazily rich. I'm curious about Megan's point of view, especially with her comments up at the top, so I'm just going to call you out with it. Megan, lead us off. What did you think of this book?
I mean, it's definitely fun. I would say it was a fun read. It was pretty quick and easy to get through. I feel like I had a lot of eye roll moments where I was just like, are we really doing this? About just A, spending, B, how they're treating other people. I'm like, oh, I would never, but I don't know. There was just so many moments that I was like, wow, we are taking this to a different level apparently. So, yeah, I mean, I thought overall it was fun. I mean, it's definitely a change from what I've been reading about Mars. So it was a welcome
so
change.
Quickly, though, listener, because she wants to get back to Mars.
I know, that's why. Seriously, I was like, I'm going to read 1 and 2 so that I have a whole month to dedicate to my boy up there. So no, but overall, it's a very fun book. I will say, I'm curious if Bree, if you've now watched the movie, because I would like to incorporate a lot of that conversation.
I haven't, because I just finished the book today.
No! Okay, so you watch it tomorrow.
So I'm probably not tomorrow, but I am definitely planning to watch it this weekend.
Okay.
All that said, feel free to I'm not super worried about it if you
I was
want
gonna
to
say,
talk
I
about
mean,
it.
if you've read the book, it's not really a spoil at that
Yeah,
point.
So,
I
like,
guess.
You know?
I'm not super worried. Feel free, say what you want to say. I'm genuinely curious, and I don't think you're gonna sway me to not watch it.
Okay.
No, I still think that it's absolutely worth watching. And who knows? You can watch it this weekend, and then when we cover book 2.
I'll keep you guys posted, but
Yeah.
all that said, feel free to talk about the movie. I know you all have comparisons and opinions, and I'm genuinely very curious, so please, by all means.
Well, tell
Okay.
us your thoughts about the book first, as the one that finished today.
Yeah, go brief.
Okay. I agree with what Megan said overall. Like, I thought it was fun. Sorry, I'm trying to also be careful because Jared asked me earlier what my thoughts were, and I started to explain them to him, and he was like, "You can't use those words on the podcast."
Oh.
And they weren't mean. They were words like verbose. And
Oh, you can use those on the podcast.
Why
we
would you
are
not
we are literary girls.
he was like, "You sound so ridiculous." So
We're talking about
We are women in
crazy rich
STEM.
Asians.
Bree. Listen.
we are women in STEM. We are women in STEM and women in the arts, okay?
Yes.
Use
I want to
whatever
hear you.
words
We're
you
both.
want to.
I want to hear your scintillating review. Please continue.
It's honestly it's not that great. This book was crazy and rich. It's interesting to me that the Goodreads, like some of the words used in the Goodreads description, now that you said that, because I was like, oh, I don't know that I would call it uproarious or
Yeah.
like
Agree.
Sure.
or even like, yes, it's glorious, but like in what sense? Because I similarly had like a lot of eye roll moments. I would say that I think learned that I don't particularly enjoy stories about rich people just flaunting their richness. And so I will say, so full disclosure too, I audiobooked this one. And I don't know if that was the right call. Not because like I thought the narrator did a great job. I think I missed out on a lot of the satire that was incorporated throughout.
Sure.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because I fluctuated between physically reading either my physical book or my Kindle, and then also I borrowed an audiobook from Libby, and I do feel like you miss a little bit of the satire.
I do
On the
feel like
audiobook.
this is one that you have to kind of read in and interpret it in your own voice a little bit, because to me that was missed a lot in the audiobook, which then I think influenced a lot of my opinions on the gossip and like the rumors and the things that were happening, and like Megan, you were saying, just some of the ways that they were treating people. I think there were certain sections that were meant to come off as more satirical, but that didn't necessarily come through in the audiobook.
Sure. Did it just sound like bullying? Because a lot of this
basically.
book did feel that way.
Kind of. Yeah. I know what Bree's talking about.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that you miss in the audiobook, obviously, too, is the footnotes. So there's
I love those.
so
love
there's
so fun.
footnotes
them.
actually,
On,
and
like, every page too.
Yes.
almost every page. And
Yeah.
then, did anybody else like and appreciate the family trees?
Yes.
Too. That was kind of
Yes.
helpful.
Did my book have a family tree? I literally, like, halfway through the book was
You
like, I wish I had a family tree.
Yeah,
I feel like I
was
probably did. I just missed it.
like
yeah.
all the time, and then they like have notes on who is like the first note. This is what happens when you get a facelift in Argentina. Plotting to run away to Manila with his dear nanny. Like they give like commentary on the family tree.
There was just no way I was going to be able to read. I had to read like 5 books in the span of 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And so one of them had to be an audiobooker, and I
chose this
And
one.
you chose this one. And
I mean, sort of had to, because you can't really audiobook like a lot of arcs and
Oh,
stuff.
fair. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Crazy Rich Asians it is. So I do think that like impacted my experience with the book. All that said, Like I mentioned, I'm actually like, I'm very excited to watch the movie now. I'm very intrigued about that. But overall, I thought it was fun. I thought the pacing was hard for me. I really only connected with like certain storylines, and other stories I was like, I just don't care about your super rich life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is it? Eddie can go
I
kick rocks.
did not care for Eddie. Like,
I
his
didn't
whole
care for
story.
Eddie.
Don't care.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
Eddie was comic relief for me. Like I looked forward to his chapters because I was like, something insane, ridiculous, over the top, and frankly stupid is gonna happen in this, in like the most entertaining way.
I just love that his tagline is literally "fucky fuck." Like every single time something goes wrong, he's like "fucky fuck." Yeah, I just love that.
And I will say, like, the ending definitely had me kind of on the edge of my seat, and I was very invested and excited to see where the story goes from here.
Okay, good. So now with that, Emily, I think you're the only one that hasn't shared like overall thoughts or opinions before we get into some of like the highlights.
So this was technically a reread for me. So I have read Crazy Rich Asians
Yes, that's right.
years, like a while ago.
Just this came out.
The first one. I have not read 2 or 3. So like I read the first one because it was right around the time the movie was coming out, whenever that, like years and years ago, right? So I read the book, watched the movie, have seen the movie several times when I just want a fix of like the audacity and insanity and entertaining factor. And then now I've read it again. And I have to say, I liked the second time through because I had forgotten a lot of the nuances of the characters and the like side stories and the descriptions that you can get into with a book versus a movie, right? Like a lot was left out in the movie. So it was nice to, having watched the movie several times now, reread the book, and now I can go back and watch the movie several more times and like have all the context, right? I, like, whether it's the movie or the book, will never understand why Nick does not prep Rachel. Like, I know that's kind of the whole like premise of this whole series, but that for me stands the like, I don't understand. I cannot compute. I have tried to think about it through all different ways. That for me still, even on a reread and multiple movie watches, I don't understand. That one got me. Astrid is the queen by far. I loved her. I love her in the movie. I love her in the book. Fabulous.
I know.
Eddie was comic entertainment. I thought it was really interesting, and I'm sure we'll dive into this, the differences with Eleanor in the book. And I don't mean just compared to the movie, but like Eleanor in particular was interesting to me in her just, I say nuances, but like she had more depth in the book that I appreciated, that I had kind of forgotten. It made her more human, even though she did some awful things in this story. And then the ending, I think I texted in our chat, and Jordan, we had a little sidebar on this one. I was so disappointed in that ending. I have to be honest. Like, I'm curious about book 2, but maybe it's because I've come off of seeing the movie several times, and the ending in the movie felt so like closure and happy and like what you'd expect and like wonderful. And I would still be curious about book 2. And the ending here just felt like, I can't even call it a cliffhanger. It's like we'll just leave you right there. And here's the rest.
Yeah, it did. It had this. It was very abrupt. It did seem abrupt.
Was a bit abrupt.
It left. There was a crucial. We can do spoilers, right? I wanted a proposal. I wanted it to be like the happy, like, and then book 2 and 3 continues the story.
I thought there would be a proposal. Like, I was kind of surprised that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Do you think they gave more closure with the movie though, because there was no guarantee of another movie?
So that was something that Emily and I talked about.
Yeah.
And once you watch the movie this weekend, Bree, you'll have to let us know like what you think. They gave the movie like this very like Hollywood ending, right?
Watch me say I'm gonna watch it, but then I'm gonna go and it's gonna say something about it being $26 for me to rent it, and then I'm definitely not gonna
I
watch
think
it.
it's on Netflix.
It's on Prime. And I just rented it over the weekend for literally 24 cents.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
That
so
I can
you're
do
fine.
that. I can splurge. I can be crazy
You
rich
could spare a
and
quarter.
With her gin and coconut water.
There you go.
No, but Emily and I, something that we had talked about was how they gave it their, very classic kind of Hollywood ending because, of course, the proposal is going to happen in the movie. Like, that just absolutely has to happen, right? And Emily and I were both kind of convinced, because I texted her and I was like, oh, so I think they did this because they really didn't know, like, they weren't going to make movie 2 and movie 3. I think that they just wanted to, put a nice, neat bow on it and send it off.
Now I'm curious because there is a book 2 and 3, and Megan, you've finished book 2. How far into book 2 until a proposal? And if I have
You
to
want
wait
me
till
to?
the end-
You want me to answer this question?
I was waiting to expression to see if I could get a read. If I have to wait to the end of book 2, I'm going to be a little sad, to be honest.
blink twice if it's like.
Well, no, because book 2 is literally it starts with the eve of their wedding, before they're getting married.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
They get married, first 3 chapters.
Wonderful. Then okay. Excellent.
So do we even get a proposal or an official engagement?
If I remember correctly, I think it's just a quick back note, because book 2 also happens. I think it's several years after book 1 in the timeline, so it's 2 years later. So I think they get engaged, and it's a quick backstory on this is when he proposed and this is what he did, and then it jumps to and now it's our wedding and we're getting married and
Okay.
Well, I feel
Emily,
better now that I don't have to read another 400 pages.
I was about to say, I was like, Emily, what are you asking? Because literally the back of the book says it's the eve of Rachel Chu's wedding.
Clearly, I have not got to that.
Okay, but I do want to touch on your comment that you made, Emily, about Eleanor. Because I thought that was a really interesting take. Oh my gosh, what is her? Michelle. Oh gosh, what is her last name? Who played Eleanor? I'm trying to remember the actress's name. Is it?
I thought you may have seen the same thing I saw if all of our algorithms are syncing. But I saw this quick interview snippet, and I'll share it with everybody. We can put it on our socials, where the actress who played Eleanor in the movie declined the role at first because she thought the screenplay had written Eleanor too mean, and she said Eleanor's a mother, she's going to be protective of her family and protective of her son, but we have to portray her as a mother who loves her children. And I thought it was a really interesting take.
So interesting because in the book she's just a bitch. So I don't understand.
So it's Michelle Yeoh.
I think in the movie she's nice. She's way nicer in the movie than she is in the book by far.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't like her the second she popped onto the page of my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Michelle Yeoh, and it's really interesting that you say that. That makes me wonder if she read the book.
I don't know. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what? Because to your point, I had very mixed feelings about Eleanor, and then I just started kind of getting the ick. She almost, honestly, if I had to compare her to another character, have any of you seen that movie? Oh, God, love her. Diane Keaton, Mandy Moore, Because I Said So.
I love that movie.
Love that movie.
Diane Keaton drives me batty.
Yes.
But that is the way that she is supposed to be. She is overbearing. She is smothering. She is meddling. That was giving more Eleanor to me, in my opinion, than the way that Michelle Yeoh portrayed her in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I took, so I appreciated the Eleanor in the movie for that mother side, because I think she portrayed the hard edge that Eleanor is supposed to have, but
she
with a
did that
soft
very well.
underbelly, right? And I think that's where I liked the ending of the movie, because Eleanor comes into play and there's like a quiet nod to, Brie, I hate to ruin this for you for the ending.
Yeah,
but
so she's like not a horrible person.
she's not an entirely horrible person.
Horrible.
And at the end, I appreciated what felt like a very honest truce between Rachel and Eleanor in the movie, like a very respectful.
Yeah.
We both have our place. Truce.
Well, and maybe
That's a good way of putting it.
And maybe that was even part of the reason then that Michelle Yeoh said, like, no,
Rewrite
this needs to be a little bit more. Yeah, that I could see. That I would agree with. Yeah.
I think that in the book, the vibe I got from Eleanor is that she's a product of her environment. And I don't think that's like, that is, I don't want to sell it short because she does some awful things, like the fact that she left town when her son comes back after 2 years and like doesn't even greet the new girlfriend, right, as a sign of respect or anything like that. And she travels to China to dig in to find dirt on Rachel to bring back to break him up. And it's like,
Okay, but the shopping scene and the spa were fun. I'm sorry. I did love those. And I do kind of wish that we had those in the movie.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
100%. But I think that she was just a product of her. Like, I almost felt sorry for her in the book, more sorry than I did in the movie, because I don't think she had any way out. I mean, I don't know, out of her situation. Not that like
Justifies it.
Yeah, it just, she was a product of her environment.
Yeah, I feel that way about a lot of the characters in the book, though. That a lot.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders if it's because we're also reading this from a lens of a very Western culture where, like, clearly we take offense to things like that. But I do feel like in Asian cultures, not that anyone is cold, but I think that their signs of respect are a lot different parent to child than we see in the US or in other Western cultures where that's just not how we treat each other.
Which, back to Emily's point, is like part of the reason it's so crazy that Nick never fills Rachel in.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Right.
Like, and I will say, because I was waiting for his apology at the end, I was like, what is he going to say? I was like, please let me hear this. I can't wait to know what you're going to say. And it was like, in my opinion, I was like, okay. I mean, he's like, I was ignorant. And I was like, oh yeah, I could have told you that from way back.
Capital I, ignorant, in fact.
But I was like, how could you be like so out of touch, talking about just like the customs and the culture, even if you don't want to fill her in on the wealth of the family, because he's like, I don't like to talk about that, it's really uncomfortable for me, blah 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 blah. But like, just filling her in, knowing that she hasn't been, to give her a heads up of, hey, I know you're not used to this is sort of what you can expect, what they'll be looking for, would be super helpful.
Yeah. I think that irked me too, Brie, to your point, because I feel like throughout the rest of the book, and even in the movie it's depicted, like, they have a very open, very honest relationship where, like, she then fills him in on all of the shit that went down at the bachelorette party, for example, or like, this is how so-and-so was treating me. So it's like, why could he just not have taken the courtesy one step further and been like, oh, by the way, this is what's up. This doesn't, because otherwise I feel like they have a really good, strong relationship, except for this one foundational piece of information.
yeah.
I also, I don't know if I call it just Nick being totally naive, because I think about how he approaches interactions and scenes with his grandma, his ama, And it's like he approaches it, like you were saying, Megan, from that cultural of respect, and it's my grandma and my ama, and like that's when she's wonderful and she's so kind, and I'm sure she is. But he has no concept of her true feelings, protection of the family, like do you want anything? It's just my sweet ama who took care of me, right? And I don't know, I hate to say he's naive because that feels again like an out for something that should be very foundational to their relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
And also just like a heads up, if you're gonna meet a bunch of somebody's exes and like people that you've had a threesome with, I'd kind of like to know before I show up.
But
Yeah.
also, like, the fact that that was, like, what finally drove Rachel to, like, I can't believe, like, I can't take it anymore. I'm like, girl, that is, like, that feels so high school. And it was in high school. But I was like, I don't know why that was, like, the final kicker for her to be like, Nick, I can't believe it. Like, what?
I was more like, he could have been like, hey, obviously, like, I've got to pass. The girls are kind of catty.
Well, it's
Heads
just
up.
like when Logan leaves Rory on Gilmore Girls with like all of his sister's bridesmaids, and he's like slept with all of them. And you're like, honestly, not gonna say anything. Like,
But
let me know
see,
there's
like,
a
okay,
path.
if it were you though, and you went into that situation and you had that heads up, I feel like I wouldn't feel any better. I wouldn't. I feel
No.
like I would walk in just as pissed finding out beforehand as I did after. You know?
I'd be just as insecure, 100%. But I would probably be less angry because I would say at least there was some consideration for it for what I was getting into. Like, you know, just as much as I don't love the fact that you put me in this situation, you don't probably feel super great about the fact that you have to share that with me. And now you just told me. You know what I mean? Like, and now kind of getting into it, bringing it back to Nick, I almost wonder if there's this like shame associated with it, just like guilt or shame over his family's wealth, right? Like we
I didn't
look
get
at,
that impression.
I don't know, like he tries to separate himself from it somewhat, and he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable or safe sharing that with Rachel, and you have to ask yourself why, because he seems safe and comfortable enough to share other things. And
Jordan, I'm with you. I got a similar vibe that it almost felt like years of him growing up being told, don't talk about money, don't talk about, like, don't, like, I'm sure it was probably instilled in him, but that he has brought forth this, like, I don't talk about it because I've been programmed not to talk about it. Not that again, excuses it, but I got that like a deep, hot button topic when he was finally coming clean to Rachel.
yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting take.
Yeah.
I don't know that I necessarily agree, and that's only because he has zero problem spending the money. I mean, he's still flying first class everywhere. He's still, telling Rachel buy whatever she wants. It's on him. Like, sure, don't talk about it, but you have zero problem spending it. Like, it just seems backwards to me.
To me, I will say my read was like less shame, and I agree with you, Emily, in that it was like one hardwired in him not to talk about, but I also felt like he was protective of that and like protective of his family's legacy and their wealth, whether or not he knew the full extent of it, because I think he's even like, I don't actually know how wealthy we truly are. And I was like, you're in your 30s, dude. Like,
and you're a professor in New York, not downplaying, but like you have moved your life. Look around.
Yeah. So I don't know that I got shame vibes from it, but I did get like, I'm protective of it and I don't necessarily just talk about it with anybody. But
still, you've been with this girl for how long?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, from the beginning, that is my number one, like, what the fuck moment in this entire book is you didn't.
Well,
and I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
So not telling her about their wealth, right? let's kind of transition that into not even just kind of giving her some of the cultural sort of heads up.
Thank goodness that Rachel had Peeklin, her friend, that like grew up there and is from there, to guide her through this. Everything from like what designer to wear to how to go in this situation, because otherwise I think she'd be lost.
Yeah, because Nick left her hanging.
Yeah.
Once again, this is Nick's fault. This whole book is Nick's fault.
Even I thought this was interesting that like even Astrid is talking to Nick and they're really close, like almost siblings, kind of close, right? As cousins.
Yes.
And he's going, you didn't warn her? Like,
yeah, you didn't have these conversations.
You didn't have this conversation? Are you know?
Part of me wished then that like Astrid would have stepped in and like taken her aside and been like, hey girl, this is what's up. I'm part of this family. I can let you in on this. Like just to be, yes, a friendly face in the crowd, but to even be then a guide for her as well, just as Peeklin was. Like, that would, I think that would have been nice to have an insider
100%.
have your back if Nick wasn't going to be that person.
I was just going to say that, Megan. I was missing the chapter where Astrid like texts Rachel and goes like, hey, I know it's a lot, or last night was rough. You know, if you need help, I'm here. Just like
About the fish.
Oh my God.
Sorry about the fish,
Those girls really suck.
They really do. No, I like what you're saying there, and I'm definitely inclined to agree with you. Astrid has so much going on in her own world too, right? Which we can kind of get to in a minute as well. But it definitely would have been nice if that would have been an angle that the book takes. Although I think Kwan kind of reserved Peeklin for that role in a way. And I'm also not mad about that because hands down my favorite character. Like I just love Peeklin. I think she's amazing.
Kwan did a really good job, to your point, of being very, I would say, respectful and poignant and showing it in its true colors in the book. And also, there was a little bit of cheeky humor. Like, I laughed a little bit when Rachel Chu was confused, like, oh, are you the Taiwan?
Oh, the Taipei Plastics Chu?
The Taipei Plastic. And
that's
a little, like, it was tongue-in-cheek. It was showing a very real, where many communities around the world have, you know, if that line that they try to draw to distinguish themselves is pushed or pulled against, then, you know, there's tension. And he does a great job of, I think, balancing the reality of it with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. I mean, Megan, you opened the episode with, what does he name a character in book 2? Just, right.
No,
that's what I'm like the first book, like I said, I feel like I very much enjoyed it. And then the second book, I'm like, you are not serious. You are not a serious person.
And maybe there's part of me that says maybe he's highlighting it for the ridiculousness of it. And he's also got this great sense of humor. But he's also being like, do you realize how, like, but I think he's also calling out these communities, and he's saying you're playing right into these stereotypes of what people know that you do. Like, I don't know. That'd be my. Let's talk about that bachelorette party for a second and just the wildness that was. Didn't love that. Absolutely did not love that. So, and I will say, Bree, for reference for you, they did do a pretty good job. They kept that relatively accurate-ish in the movie too, with like the bloody fish and then the writing and everything like that. Like, it was not the finest moment, and I cringe. I did not love that at all. I thought it was gross.
It was I mean, it's bullying. I think we said at the beginning, right? Like, there's moments that were, you know, where it's highlighting a tension right between the two, and there's witty and it's funny and entertaining, and then there's moments where you've just crossed the line into bullying, right? And I think that, rightfully so, I don't want to fish in my bed or purse or wherever, right?
No.
You know, rightfully so was kind of Rachel's. That felt like, at least to me, the wake up. I don't know if wake up call is the right word, but the pivot moment in the book where
For sure.
everything leading up to the fish was like, okay, this is rude, weird, ultra rich, like I'm just rolling with the tide, and then the fish happened and it's like, no, okay, this is like very much a turning point kind of thing.
Agreed. How did we think about how Rachel handled it, though, or like how she addressed it? I will say the difference in the book is because if I remember correctly, there's one of the bridesmaids in the book that does actually kind of like swing to Rachel's side or to her aid, if you will. And that does, I think it's actually Astrid in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. But how do we think Rachel handled that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like fine. Like, it's not like she ran off to tell anybody that it happened. I mean, she had a witness, and then she told Nick what happened. But I'm just saying,
like,
if it were me, you'd be hearing about it. Someone would hear about it, not just
Megan
another.
said I would not have gone quietly.
No, because that's just rude and disgusting.
Yeah, and like she doesn't tell Nick for a while. I'm not gonna lie, maybe that's just me being immature, but you can bet I would have called Jared right away and been like, "What did you get me into? This is insane. Call a plane. I want out."
Yes.
Like,
I'm gonna go home.
Get a tumbler here. Let's go.
I'm done.
Yeah. No,
I don't know
and
that I would like make a big fuss about it like with the other girls necessarily, but I certainly would have called and been like, "Nick, I want out. Like I want out of this party now. They just put a fish in all over my stuff. I'm done."
Well, and I just think it's insane. Like, what a concept to go to a bachelorette party where you know no one, and you're also not even part of the wedding. You know what I mean?
You're also on an island that is only accessible by private jet.
Right.
Like I would go if like that ever happened, I'd be going, okay, but what's the immediate number to your private jet, Nick? So if I need to leave or get off or I'm out, just give me the number and I'll call Joe.
Yeah.
That's how I am with everything. That's why I like to drive myself places. I like to know how I'm getting
An escape
home.
route.
Yeah, need an escape route. You can't walk me on an island with a bunch of mean girls that I don't know and not give me an out.
Right. I will give props to Rachel of like, I mean, that is very brave to be like, you know what? Yes, I'm game. I will go to this thing. I don't know anybody. You know, how bad could it be? But I mean, then it ends up being very bad, and then I wouldn't want to be there anymore. But like, if it were me, like I would not have even gone. I would have been like, no, I'm good, thank you, but I'm not part of this. I'll just like cruise around with my best friend, you know, whatever.
I will say though, I have been to a bachelorette party where I wasn't in the wedding and only knew like 2 people.
Well, okay, so have you guys, but you guys are reminding me, do you guys know that comedian, Nate Bargatze?
Yes, I'm seeing him like in 2 weeks.
I've seen him live like 4 times.
I'll have to send you a clip, or you all may already know it, but we're talking about like, oh, what would we do? What would we not do? Whatever, having an exit strategy, right? He has this little bit in one of his comedies, one of his stand-ups where he talks about, you know, in your 20s, you're game for anything. Friend asks you to go. You say, I'm there. I don't even know where there is, but I'm going. Your 30s look a little different. I got some questions. Where is there that we're going? When are we, what did he say? I'm going to drive separate. I'm going to drive separate so that I can leave on my own. He says something else I can't remember, but then he says, your 40s, you just go, nah, I'm not going.
No. Yeah, and I will say, Rachel is in her 30s in this book, so she could have said no.
She should have asked some questions. She just should have asked some questions.
Yeah.
But,
and I understand, like, being caught up in, like, oh my gosh, and I just met the bride, and she's fabulous, and she's invited me, and, like, I can't say no to that, and I get that. I would have said no. Me, personally, I would have said, you know what? You do you with your friends. My girl Peeklin over here. We'll just go hang. You know, whatever. Like, I don't know. To me, it'd be like, so, you know, if one of Kyle's friends got married and then I went to their fiance's event where I don't know anybody, like, that just doesn't seem fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's my thing is, I was even questioning because Nick's like, well, I'm going off on the bachelor party. I would be like, yeah, great, have a good time.
Yeah.
I love staying in fancy hotels by myself.
Yes.
Like,
And my
I'm
friend
sure
was-
they have a spa. Let's eat some good food. My girl Picklin lives here.
Right.
I've got so much room for activities. Like,
Yeah.
100%. Go have fun.
I'm gonna go eat my way through every market. Like, let's just bop around. I don't need this bachelorette party. So again, it's Nick's fault, and it could have been avoided.
And again, when
That is Megan's conclusion of
This whole book, it's Nick's
thing.
fault. Could have been avoided.
It was always
And
a
it's, I
man.
feel like there's so many books like this where, like, I understand, like, that is the point of the plot, but I'm like, a quick text message, when we wouldn't even have a book, we wouldn't have anything to talk about because communication would have been there, we would have been good. Yes, like, just a brief, even a handwritten note real quick would have been, we could have solved all of these problems.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, and then an even bigger problem, I don't know. Do we want to talk about, like, Astrid and her marital stuff, or do we want to talk about the whole revelation and, like, what Eleanor does to Rachel first? Which one do you think deserves more attention at the moment? Maybe we just give Astrid and her marital issues a flyover, honestly.
Yeah, let's
I
just
don't
do
know.
a quick drive-by. I will
So-
say, Bree, Astrid and her marital problems briefly show up in the movie, but not nearly to the extent that's in the book. Like, by far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it is still a whole. What I feel like the movie got well between Astrid and her husband was the whole, like, class issue and just the wealth and whatnot. Like, her husband feeling like he's not the provider. He's very insecure because she is more well off than him. Like, all of that is going on. You know, yes, in the movie he's having an affair, blah blah blah, all these things. I don't even think in the book he's actually having an affair.
He's
if I
not.
remember
No.
correctly.
And
It's a fake affair.
it's a fake affair, and I believe it's his sister or whatever. And the
His
fact that,
cousin,
like,
it's
this
one of his
sister,
cousins or something.
or whoever, his family member, it was clearly a member of his family. But the fact that they sent a text message that said, "I miss you inside me," I was like, that is disgusting. If my brother ever did that on my behalf,
When
Yeah.
he said,
Yeah.
and he was like, that was all a setup to make you think I was having an affair. I was like, what family member does that?
what are we doing?
No.
What?
That whole moment for me was eye roll. I was like, what are we doing?
I think, like, I know we've talked a lot about Nick's miscommunication on many levels. Michael is worse, in my opinion, because
He's intentionally bad.
intentionally worse. Because, like, I look at all, and this is not going to say the right thing, but, like, he is providing for his family. Like, Astrid has copious condos, you know, apartments that she owns. Her father, like, gave them a tract of land and hired an architect and was going to build them this, like, $7 million, $1 million mansion for them to live in. And she said, no, we're going to live where Michael and I can do it to get where, like, Michael can afford to support us. Like, I think she went above and beyond to give Michael the chance, like, to be the role that he wants to be. And I didn't see anything in that, maybe I missed it, that he was appreciative or stepped up or, you know, anything, and then has a fake affair and says, I just needed this to get out.
I mean, he
yeah,
just struck me as, like, being very insecure about it, and then a bad communicator on top of it to say, like, hey, this is an issue with your family. Can we talk about it? It doesn't surprise me to hear you say, like, that's not as big a part of the movie, because on a very, very foundational level, like, his story and Rachel's story are extremely similar.
Oh, fair. I didn't even
And
think about
so-
it while I was reading that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I could see where they would be like, one of these has to take front and center, and it's for sure going to be Rachel and Nick.
Yeah.
Because I will
Yeah.
also say, like, Charlie, also is not in the movie at all.
Okay.
So like that whole storyline does not exist. There's actually a lot of characters that are in the book that do not exist in the movie.
That makes sense because there are a lot of characters in this
Yes.
book. It was kind of hard to keep everybody straight at times.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
I think that was a great flyover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the whole revelation, right? So Eleanor, and she does this with Grandma, right? She does this with Amma, or no, that was in the movie. I'm mixing it up now. That's right.
With her Bible study.
Yes, in the book it's with her Bible study, and she hires this private investigator to look into Rachel, and basically we find out Rachel's father is not dead. As a matter of fact, like, Rachel's mom did run away. It was this whole thing. I don't know.
That was a very interesting way, I thought, for Kevin Kwan to introduce and like share a lot about the laws and family dynamics that I'm trying to think of like the best way to say this, that we've all like heard about but maybe haven't ever known the details of in our culture necessarily. And to hear that from that point of view and perspective, I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I like knew, obviously we like knew something was going on because the second Eleanor gets news, she's like, oh my gosh, end chapter. And then we don't hear about it for 2/3 of the book.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, something's coming, but I will say I didn't fully expect like that revelation from her mom, but I thought that was a really just like purposeful and well thought out way to introduce that topic or have that be a part of the story. Any of that makes sense.
No, I think it does, because it's done sensitively as well. I mean,
Yes.
even though you're, obviously not pleased with Eleanor for doing that, but at the same time, I think then it leads to conversations between Rachel and her mom that needed to happen.
Like, this is one of the things that is in the book and not in the movie for many reasons. But the one that stuck with me is the deciding, like, the straw that broke the camel's back for her mom to leave China and take baby Rachel with her to go to the US is when she caught wind that her mother-in-law was thinking of blinding her granddaughter in one eye just to take advantage of a loophole in the one-child policy. And I was like, yeah, I'd be out the next hour. Goodbye.
Yeah, we'd be done.
That was like, and obviously not in the movie for any reason, but like that was, I think Bree and you both were saying it, like a very well thought out and story arc that Kwan included in the story about highlighting yet another legislation or piece of legislation, on that one child policy and just the social impacts that it has.
For me, I feel like that piece of information, again, we are aware of it, but to me, like, that was probably the biggest culture shock moment that I experienced in the book, was finding out like your own family member is willing to do that to your child. Like, that is that I was just, not that America is great by any means, but like that was exceedingly cruel and something I did not anticipate being shared in this book.
Yeah, Kevin Kwan does a great job in the book of depicting that. And obviously that part gets missed a little bit in the book too.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The breakup, the third act sort of breakup, though, is both in the movie and the book. I thought that the movie did a pretty great job of it, where it, they kind of have this conversation and Rachel's like, look, don't want you to resent me. It just doesn't seem like this is gonna work. And I think even in the book she does a much better job. I mean, she does in the movie too, but I think in the book she does a much better job of calling Nick out on things too, because we're talking all about like how everything is his fault, and we're talking about how, like, you know, you could have told me these things. We could have had these conversations ahead of time, and we didn't. And that's a huge, like...
Yeah, just like...
Go ahead, Brie.
I was gonna say, it just cracks me up because she's like point 1, point 2, point 3, and Nick's like, I didn't know I had that much money. And then she's like, point 4, point 5, point 6.
She's
and
like,
he's
I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, I hear you, but like, I love you. And I was just like, my dude, we got anything else in there?
That's where I think the breakup scene in the book was better because Rachel, like you said, just like goes at it. What I missed post breakup though is the mahjong scene from the movie.
Why was that not in the book? Okay, this is one part that I feel like we have to talk about maybe after Brie watches the movie because she has to see that scene.
That scene.
Like, I finished this book today. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's one of my favorite, like, tell-off scene where the main character, like, dishes it back. And I missed that in this book.
Basically, in the book, Eleanor accepts an invitation from Rachel to go and play community mahjong. Like, mahjong, she goes and has it out with...
In the movie.
Yes. Correct. Not in the book.
She has it out with Eleanor and has this whole kind of conversation as they're playing mahjong. And that's essentially what sparks kind of what Emily was referring to earlier about like the truce that sort of ends up happening between Eleanor and
yeah, because I was going to say, we don't really get any sort of truce in the book, nor any, like, she just is kind of no longer there.
But then in order for the ending
Nick has
of
this
the...
moment with the bird and is like, okay, I'm going to fight for her.
See, okay, I'm telling you, mahjong scene way better than the bird.
But also... I think the mahjong scene kind of sets up the ending for the movie anyway,
totally does.
So it will totally help make sense. But it needed to. Oh gosh, it totally should have been in the book. I completely agree. That would have been so nice.
Stay tuned. If it's only
Megan,
24
book 2,
cents,
is there mahjong?
I will watch it.
No.
What's that?
No, there's none. I don't want to say anything. Book 2 takes a very different plot line.
Okay,
well, I'm going to interject.
We've gone an hour without a chaos question, Emily.
They like went. I have a lot prepared. So anyway, the one there's two that I'm curious about, but this one we're going to take a lighthearted, kind of fun spin, because this book has so much judgment and like people making snap judgments and things like that, right? In the book, I'm curious. This is a fun one. Which character in this book is 100% stalking your Instagram within minutes of meeting you, and what are they judging you for first? Go make it.
Eddie, and absolutely what you're wearing, who your designer is, who your photographer was, how much money you have, 100%
Or don't
Eddie.
have. I love that. I love that. Araminta.
Okay.
I was going to go that direction. I'll go in a different direction. It's good. Go.
And she's judging my lack of jewelry in my fashion choices and my I don't know, the fact that I'm in sweats a lot, maybe.
Okay, I'm going Oliver, and he's judging that I only post once a year.
Yeah. That was a good one. Oh my gosh, mine is so bad.
Oliver might be one of my favorite characters.
I loved
Oliver,
and I love him in the movie too.
I was gonna say I think you'll love him in the movie as well.
And he's 100% judging that I only post once a year.
I like it. That was the direction I went. Is I also was going to say Eddie would judge me 100% for not posting more frequently on my personal Instagram, and not having articulately and immaculately post photos with my children.
Yes. Also for not flying private.
There you go.
It's
There you go.
Kids being kids, not kids in tuxedos.
Correct.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yes.
What's the other chaos question, Emily?
Okay, this is again just a fun one. So, if you got access to unlimited wealth for 24 hours in this world, what's the most chaotic, unnecessary purchase you're making just because you can?
Oh my God.
I'm probably gonna buy. Okay, this is just top of my head. I'm either gonna buy like a castle in Scotland or a vineyard in Italy.
There you go. Okay.
I too am thinking multiple
24
properties.
hours. I can make that decision I can make that decision in 24 hours,
Yeah.
and I can buy a castle in Scotland or a vineyard in
Or
Italy.
both.
Yeah.
Or both.
Go both.
Yeah,
Why are
right.
you
And
settling?
okay, well, I'm buying a mountain house.
There you go. Why are you
Yeah.
settling?
Yeah, I'm going property, and then say that we like pay for everything up front. There are no fees in the future that I ever have to pay ever. I'll buy myself a plane. Shit, then I can get to all my properties.
There you
That's
go.
what I gotta do.
Yeah. Okay.
I like
okay.
that. I like
What
that.
about you?
I'm liking the vineyard idea. I'm liking the vineyard idea a lot.
There is a vineyard for sale right now in Italy for $800,000.
Bree,
Did you just Google
I
this?
you that we could buy a whole island.
I know. But Megan, I do think that island is like actually haunted.
Oh, that's okay. I'm okay with it.
I mean, true. It's okay. We can go be friends with them.
Yeah. I think I'm going the same route. It would be property. There would be a beach house somewhere near epic scuba diving. Like
There you go.
Indonesia, when we were there, was pretty epic diving. So there would be some like can revisit vineyard, or just frankly Italian chateau. It doesn't even have to have a vineyard. I can plant a vineyard, right? I just a chateau with land, and then probably somewhere like, I don't know, I hate to say mountain house like you were, but like northern Idaho lakefront, like that's where we are, right? I'm in Washington, so it would be some beautiful mountain house where I currently am.
There
I
you
would
go.
have to do a lot to make those transactions happen in 24 hours, but where there's a will, there's a way. So,
I was
You
about to
bring the
say,
right
it's
people.
not impossible though. People
I
do
would
it.
say you have
Yeah.
unlimited funds. You can hire somebody to help with that. Be like, I can pay you
Yes.
whatever.
Whatever,
And
make
you
it
can help
happen.
me get all of this done in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a notary, so just call me at any moment and I can just notarize the shit out of stuff for you.
excellent, excellent.
There you
I
go.
think my husband would want a car, but
Yes.
that would be
I think-
like,
Yeah, I think Jared.
That's
would
probably
also want
pushing
a car.
it. I don't know. It's all about what I want.
for 24 hours.
I will keep you all posted on my movie watching adventure.
Yes,
Please do.
We're
I'm
excited
very
to
relieved.
hear how your experience goes with this for sure, because yeah, I was very, very happy to finish the book and rewatch the movie. I hadn't watched it in a hot minute, and so that was very
I have
nice.
to say, I am very relieved that I don't have to read all of book 2 before I get a proposal and a wedding. So,
Yeah,
And
it's
so
on
we
the back
will,
cover.
yeah.
we will be continuing book 2 with China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan next month in May. Before that, we have 2 amazing author interviews coming up. We have Sarah Beth Durst and her newest, The Far. I almost said nudist, and that was
That's
unintentional.
hilarious. Please keep that in.
Her newest.
Well, we've already kept in whatever the character's name is.
Definitely not any nudity in it. The Faraway Inn, and all I will say, and Emily might add on to this, but all I'll say is that just that, like, Sarah Bethers just embodies cozy fantasy in her entire being. Like, she is that genre. It's so apparent when you get to hear from her. So look forward to that conversation. And then we also have an author interview with Claire Kahn about the marriage narrative. All of that is still to come this month.
Yay!
Wow.
I'm very excited.
It's a busy month. April kind of snuck up on me, but here we are.
Already halfway through.
Halfway. Yeah.
Oh, wait for spring and sunshine here, as you can see out the window, but at least it's light out. Usually when we do these recordings, it's like nice and light, and then it's
No.
like, goodbye.
I went from light to dark. So
Yeah,
You
that's
did.
I had the sun for a little bit.
Yeah, it still is a little light, but losing it mostly. So Bree said, not for me.
No.
Not for me.
She gone.
Well, I'm really glad that we got to have this discussion, ladies, and I look forward to book 2 continuing on with all of you. Till then. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks so much for listening. The Narratives and Nightcaps podcast is a production of The Craft Co. with intro music created by Remington Haynes.
Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow at Narratives and Nightcaps on Instagram or visit our website, narrativesandnightcaps.com.
Sign up for our newsletter to always know what we're reading next, which authors are joining us on the show, and for extra bookish and beverage info.
Connect with our additional co-hosts, Jordan and Emily, as well.
You can find me on Instagram at Cozy Reads and Sips.
And you can find me on Instagram at books.bottles.
Cheers!
Cheers.